Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon Wound Pickups.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd, Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We are thrilled to death to have you along for this episode. We are super duper excited about this episode. And I'll tell you after Tony tells you, what do we do on the show, Tony?
We like to talk about gear, and we like to talk about the makers and to the makers of gear, specifically boutique gear, things like guitars and amps and pedals and accessories and pedal boards and all kinds of fun stuff. And we like to get the story behind the story.
Yes, and we like to talk to people that are doing interesting things in the industry, like this chap. Who are you, chap?
Hey, my name is Drew Foppe. I'm a guitar tech, amp builder, pedal builder. I happen to be home from tour right now because no one is touring.
Yes. Well, we're going to get into that mess of soup later. It's a dreary world for all those people right now. Drew, we are thrilled that you are on the show. We are great fans of yours, and you're a really decent fellow, and we like you a lot. So,
thanks, guys. I'm super happy to be here. Thanks for having me. It's nice to be back on.
Good. We're gonna have a really fun time on this episode. I was gonna say tonight. It could be today. Could be I don't know. Whatever day it is for you right now. We got things to do, so we can go have some fun. First, we need to say a big fat thank you to Rode Mics for supplying the Rodecaster Pro, this delicious piece of hardware that is collecting all of this information, digitizing it, and spitting it into your ears.
Even Michioso.
Yes, complete with a complimentary black and gold Q-tip.
That's right.
We also have the Procaster microphones in separate zip codes right now, which is really fun.
Crazy, yeah.
We're still using them, and they sound great.
All 4 separate zip codes. One's halfway across the country.
That's true. Drew's calling from Arizona right now. He's not on a road, but maybe someday.
Hopefully someday soon. You never know.
Yeah. All right. Hey, if you are hoping to up your own podcast game currently, or you are hoping to start one, or maybe you're just trying to record your stand-up routine in your living room or something, or you have a small children's band or an adult band, maybe of large people. I don't know.
Maybe
How
about a small adult band?
A small adult band, not in size.
It sounds like a children's
just
band.
in number.
I think in size.
Maybe too, yes. You can get yourself one of these. They are fantastic, and thank you again to Rode for that. I also wanted to share something. We had a lot of really good news on this podcast this week, I'm telling you, and we're going to get to that towards the end of the show. One of those pieces of good news was from our friend Steve Keys. I'm paraphrasing some of this because he threw in a lot of personal stuff, and I just want to be sensitive to that. So anyways, he says, let me begin by telling you how much I appreciate you all and your podcast. We thank you for that, Steve. When this COVID-19 crap first came into view, I must admit I went into a small panic attack mode. I've been home now for over 2.5 weeks, and not only have I been able to slow down and spend more meaningful time with my son, but it has allowed me some time to prioritize the more important aspects of my life, like our show. Your show has been a constant with all of the chaos around us, and it's been a big part to bring me back down to a semi-normal existence. I realize this is why I supported your show in the first place, and I am excited to be a returning customer to help support this cause. I am honored to spend the equivalent of 6 cups of coffee because I love coffee, and help keep this awesome guitar gear podcast train rolling. Thank you, and keep up the great work, guys. Man, that is fantastic. When people come on, when people leave, I always try to make sure that we let them know that we're always, we're here. We're happy to talk. They're always part of the Patreon family for us, and we're just really grateful for the support because people don't have to, and it means a lot. It really, really does. So thank you, Steve, for your support. It is truly helping us, and we're glad to be able to bring this content to all of you people listening, wherever you are in the world. Stay safe and healthy as you are listening. All right. That's enough for the announcements.
I have an announcement.
Tony, I said that's enough.
I have an announcement.
And I have one
And
after
we're
him.
going to listen to my damn announcement.
Gosh.
Jeez.
Announcement free for all. Go ahead, Tony.
I just want to I want to give a tip of the hat to PayPal. PayPal has waived their fees for instant transfers. So if you are a business like mine, and I'm sure like Jared's and many others, that you primarily get paid through PayPal, you can transfer your money immediately as opposed to the standard, which is normally free. I think the instant transfers 5 or 10%. I forget what they charge normally, but they've waived those fees. So now, instead of waiting until like the next day, sometimes 2 days, when you transfer instantly, it literally shows up 5 minutes later in your bank account.
Nuts.
And I just have to say that, as a small business, I appreciate that. And I know, if anybody else out there, like I said, gets paid primarily by PayPal, this is a really great program, and I'm sure everybody will appreciate that.
Outstanding. Thank you, Tony. I'm sure they heard that.
I hope they did. If they haven't,
I hope somebody at PayPal's listening to the show, for Pete's sakes. They employ enough people.
Well, for one, I didn't know about that. So
yeah,
thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, next time you transfer, I don't know if you transfer it back into your bank account or whatever you do, but I usually do that, maybe once a day, sometimes twice a day. It depends on what's coming through. They just popped up a little message there that says we're waiving the fees during this time. So
that's awesome.
Pretty awesome.
that's a really nice little bonus, and it doesn't cost you 10%, and you got money in your bank.
Well, that's important for all the small builders that listen to the show, actually. So
Good.
yeah.
Good.
Okay, let's get on with this, shall we? What's going on in our music world this week? Tony Baloney is going to lead us off, and then we're going to cut over. We're going to make a sharp left-hand turn over to Drew in Arizona.
Holy moly! I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. During this time, I've been kind of digging through some of the guitars in the basement and cases and things. And one thing I realized, I don't have any of them marked very well. So I literally have to pull one down, open up the case. Oh, that's what that one is. And I used to mark things with maybe you might put duct tape or gaffer's tape on it and then write on it, and then those peel off, and then this, that, and the other. So I think I have found a solution that might work, and I'll keep everyone posted if it does work. But I'm sure you've all seen those, or somebody at some point in time has used those Dymo labelers.
Yes.
They actually make a professional level one that's used like in the HVAC and plumbing industry, and it actually embosses metal. So it's like a self-stick 1/2 inch wide metal embosser.
Wow.
That I think will work on cases, so you can actually read them, and it should be a lot more permanent than the old, the plastic Dymo label. That's what I've been investigating, and if it works out okay, I will pass on the information.
Thank you, Tony. That was so awesome. Drew, what's going on in your music world?
So right now I'm at home. I'm building some pedals. I came up with some new designs and stuff, and it's just keeping me busy, trying to stay safe and healthy with everything that's going on in the world right now.
Well, all right. Keeping you busy.
Healthy and safe is good.
Yeah. J-Rod, anything in particular that's going on in your music world right now?
As far as fun guitar stuff, fortunately I had time to really dig into my guitar stuff. That's because fortunately I have plenty of orders to work on. I'm very, very thankful for that. So that's great. However, I did get some crap news today. I got a call from my NAMM representative, and he said, "Yeah, we're canceling Summer NAMM."
Oh, boy.
Man.
Yeah, I had quite a bit of money invested in my booth. I was going to do a nice big giant booth like I did last year, but he said, "Oh, we'll refund your money." I mean, it's going to take a month, but I don't care. I mean, to be honest, I wish NAMM would be there in the summer, and I wish this stuff wasn't going on, but that's just not the way it is. So we have to endure the events and carry on with our lives. So, that was really the only bummer today. Other than that, I'm just really, really thankful that you guys out there are still ordering.
Are you thinking of maybe doing the winter show, or?
It's just the winter show is substantially more expensive, and it's so far away. It would just probably more than double my cost.
Yeah.
Just because of the distance and shipping all the materials.
But boy, let's try to get there ourselves. How about that?
Yes.
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
All right.
Yes, I will definitely go to it.
Good.
And
Todd, how about you? What's going on in your music world this week?
Well, it's I've been trying to redo my where I'm set up, and we're kind of all on top of each other a little bit here, and so I've moved a lot of my music stuff downstairs into the basement. I realized, okay, I need to organize this better. Just everything is just kind of scattered. So I finally broke down, ordered 2 of those. I guess they're about 45 inches long picture rails to stick pedals and stuff on, so I can access them easily, and they're not just making piles of pedals or anything like that. So that's kind of fun. And now I was basically just really envious of Josh from JHS's, little setup. Like, I want that.
His mini vault.
Yeah. So, so I got to put that up, and that's going to be cool. And that it'll actually be really nifty, because then I don't have to run upstairs and try to find the thing I'm looking for, and I don't like to be disorganized.
You wouldn't like my shop.
I had to go to therapy after the very first time I went to your shop. I'm not
get a tetanus shot.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, you got to walk in there with shin guards. It's crazy.
Yes.
All right. How about we do this? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor. All right, Drew, give us your new 4 on the floor.
All right, so I've been had a lot of time recently to go through the boxes of pedals I neglected very, very much so for many years, and I realized I have a couple hundred pedals that are still in the box. So I pulled them all out, and I literally built a new pedal board, and I have 4 pedals that some are new and some are old that are kind of my new go-tos. And the first one, it's been around for a while, and I've probably said it before, but it's the Line 6 HX Effects. I love it. It has so much versatility and options, MIDI in and out. You can do presets or snapshots, and it's just a super powerhouse, and the effects sound great in it. I can cover ground pretty much anything on that one. The second pedal.
Hang on a second there, Mr. Cowboy. Just out of curiosity here. So whenever I hear somebody saying, oh, I've got something like you just mentioned on the board and all the analog pedals and stuff, it's like, what is preventing? Is it a mental thing that you don't want to just give it all up and go for like a full Helix or something, or like where's the mix come in?
I mean, I have all the versions of the Helix except for the main floorboard. I have the rack, and then I have the HX Stomp, which is also a great pedal. That one's 3 buttons, and I use that to channel switch an amp and then have 2 effects. So you can do whatever you want. The HX Effects, it gives you option of 6 pedals in one unit with a tap tempo, and you can have the tap tempo be global or per preset or per snapshot. You can assign it to be whatever. You can also have it control the tap tempo of any other MIDI effect. So you can use the tap tempo on the HX Effects to control MIDI tempo for like a Mobius or any of the Strymon stuff, or the Eventide H9. It'll do all of that with the tap tempo if you just connect them with MIDI. But the cool thing with the HX Effects is it has 2 effects loop sends on it. So it models pedals great, but I have some of the pedals that I still like to use, real pedals as well. So I've put them in of the HX Effects, and then for turning on the effect on and off, instead of having it like an overdrive or a delay or whatever, I turn it to the loop, and it'll control whatever pedal I put in that loop. So that button on whatever scene or snapshot can turn whatever pedal I want on as an analog pedal, and it sounds amazing because you're literally just passing the signal through it. So it lets me blend a digital version of a pedal and the analog version of a pedal, and really lets me dive in to tweak them to be pretty much exactly the same. And the cool thing about the new firmware update on the HX Effects is they just put the Analog Man King of Tone in there. So it's pretty, that's a $500 pedal right there. Yeah. And then the HX Effects is roughly the same price. Yeah. So you get that plus the other, 300-400 effects it has. And they are pretty darn close. Being digital, it does have a little bit of thing. Side note on that, I'm using the HX Effects out on Deftones for Chino now, and we had Chino's main delay is the carbon copy. Well,
for anybody that if you don't know where we're going to go with the rest of the show, we didn't really establish what Drew does. He's a professional guitar tech to the rock and roll stars of the rock and roll world of stars, one of which being the Deftones. But we'll get to that later. Go ahead.
Sorry if I chimed that one in early. I apologize.
No, you're fine.
So Chino's main delay is MXR carbon copy. Well, it doesn't have that pedal in the firmware. So I chose an analog delay, and then I was able to double stack a graphic EQ on the delay that I put in there, so I could create the warmth of an analog pedal with a digital pedal. So when I hit a button, it actually turns on two effects at the same time with one button. And it's really cool how you can multi-layer everything. So it gives you six buttons, but you can have multiple effects per button. And it doesn't take up much space at all. I have a pedal train fly board, and it takes up it's on the left side of my board. So it's the left lower quarter of the board. It's pretty small for what it does. And only one power supply. It runs on a wall wart, but you only need one power supply for it. So
awesome.
6 pedals on one. So it does a lot. It doesn't take up space, and it's really easy to use, and it has touch sensitivity buttons for editing and a whole firmware. You can get deep into it or whatever, but I mean, man, I have pretty much every delay out there, and I was running it through all the, Memory Man stuff and all the old Ibanez 8099s and all the analog stuff, and I can clone them almost exactly. You wouldn't be able to tell unless you actually threw it down on a track and you listen to the, the repeats degrading just a little bit, but you can also go in and change that.
So when you were looking for a piece of gear to use at home in between one episode of SpongeBob and the kid's going to take a bath, and then the next episode of SpongeBob, you're like, I need a piece of gear that'll allow me to do all these things at that in-between time when they're bathing.
This
true. Was probably the thing the first thing that came to your mind.
It's been one of the top things. Like, when I was on the show with Jeff from Smashing Pumpkins before, and twice, and Billy Corgan uses this same exact pedal. That's his only multi-effects pedal he uses live. Yeah. Jeff is on the Helix rack. So I've had lots of experience in, Line 6 as a company. I get to work with the people who actually write the software for these things. Awesome. So I've asked them to work on putting the carbon copy in there because a lot of people have requested that, and it'll make my job a lot easier not to have to double stack pedals to get the same tone. But I can still do it now, but it'll be a lot easier if they just wrote a code for it. But that's a whole nother level of nerd that, I just get to talk to the people who are the uber nerds.
That's awesome.
Writing all the scripts, and they're really great about that. So, but yeah, the Line 6 HX Effects is a phenomenal pedal.
It'd be kind of cool in the, if you continue to have some downtime, it'd be really awesome if you did a little vid on that at home,
I totally will. The other great thing about that is it's kind of funny you said that. When Chino first got it, before we started rehearsals, I had one sent to his house, and he kind of messed around with it a little bit, but he didn't know how to do some stuff. So I literally set my phone up and over the thing and did some walkthrough videos and sent it to him on what he was trying to do. So the great thing is like you can do a backup for the pedal onto your computer, and you just email the file, and then he can download everything that I've already programmed right into his unit, and it works perfectly. That's so awesome. There's no, it's for a tech who has a guy who's able to literally just install a file, you drag and drop it in the Line 6 editor, it's done. So
that's killer.
I just took his whole analog board. We still have some analog stuff, but all his main stuff, we just put it in that because it was much easier and made his pedal board smaller.
Yeah. Well, I suspect if you're doing world tour stuff, for anybody that doesn't know, we've referenced Chino a few times. It's Chino Moreno from the Deftones, the lead chap over there. So if you're touring the world, I suspect that just having less gear that can go sideways on you is better.
Well, and the other thing too about that stuff is because it's still being made, it's really easy to get one wherever you want in the world. They run on 100 to 240 volts as well. So if your pedal goes down and you're Singapore and you need a pedal, or if you're in Australia, you need a pedal. You just go to the store and get one, and then you just literally take your backup file, dump it in, and everything you programmed for months is right in the new pedal, no problem.
That's awesome. So, well, I think you just sold about 27 of those, man.
I mean, I do love them. They sound great, but they're super easy to use. So that's like my number one go-to pedal at the moment. You could delays and overdrives and stack and stuff, and you can play around for days and not get bored with that thing.
That's cool.
Nice.
So it's a tough act to follow. What else do you have there?
Well, there are 3 more, believe it or not.
I got a Ditto and a Polytune and
totally. I do love the Polytune though.
Yeah.
But the second pedal that I've really come to back around on, I forgot about it for a really long time, is the Paul Cochran Timmy pedal. The smaller version, the larger one's the Tim, and MXR just came out with the new Timmy pedal, the mini pedal. It also designed by Paul, but they don't sound exactly the same. I think the smaller version is brighter and doesn't have the body as the earlier Timmy pedals. And I didn't realize that they've gone up so much in value. So I decided to keep this one. But it's an excellent mild overdrive, and the tone cuts for volume, for treble and bass, they're actually work in reverse. So they actually cut the levels. So all the way to the left it is max, and then you roll it out to cut it. So it works really great, and it's very transparent and works great for taking a clean amp into crunch or using it as a boost or whatever. But it's super versatile for that mild gain structure, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a phenomenal transparent overdrive. I love it.
Awesome. Next.
And then the third pedal is something new, and it's from a company called Game Changer Audio. Mm-hmm. And these guys are in Latvia, and I've been using this pedal called the Plus pedal, and it looks like a piano sustainer pedal.
Right.
It's really cool. If you guys haven't checked that out, I highly, pretty crazy in what it does. So basically, when you play, you step on it to basically take a single note or a group of notes, depending on what mode you have it in, and it infinite sustains, so you can play over it. And when you capture the notes with you stepping on the pedal, it also takes the inflection of how you hit it into effect. So when it repeats, it does the inflection of your actual thing, and it continues that. So it's kind of like an infinity sustain. And the thing I like about it too is if you capture a clean sustain, you can click on an overdrive and play over the clean sustain with an overdriven guitar for like really ambient stuff. Or if you just want volume swells or really cool, just kind of like, anything that you need vibe for or ambient stuff, like making noise. It's a great pedal. It works awesome for that kind of stuff.
It's kind of like a really, really, really nice freeze pedal from EHX.
It is, but the the options it has are pretty amazing. So it has sends, so you can actually run one side totally wet, one side dry. So you can have a stereo setup with it.
Wow.
And it also has a dry out on the pedal, which is always sending your dry. So you can almost do a fake wet, dry, wet send with this pedal, which works really great with 2 amps instead of 3. The dry out actually leads me into the 4th pedal on my list, which is the orange Omec teleport. And the orange Omec teleport's an audio interface. And the cool thing about it is it has 1 in, 2 outs, and a USB. So when I take the output of the Game Changer Audio Plus pedal, goes into the orange Omec pedal, I can always have a dry reamp signal go into any recording software. So at any given point, I can go back in and take that signal and reamp it with whatever software or replay it through any rig I want, without affecting anything in my real amp setup. But also because it's an interface, you can use it to hook up to an iPad through USB, and then it sends it back. And then you can program the 2 outs. They're not stereo outs, but you can program each out to be a different function, which is really cool. So you can actually make it almost like a headphone monitor off of one if you're running a digital rig, or run 2 outs to 2 wet amps. But it gives you the flexibility to take any plug-in or anything like that you use in the studio and combine it with your analog rigs or whatever rig you're running, and you can run them both simultaneously, and you can turn it on and off with the foot switch. So if you use like a compressor plug-in that you love or whatever to record with, but you want to use your real amps and not have everything go through a bunch of different channels, you just send the USB out to the system and it comes back to the teleport, and literally it becomes part of your rig in that spot wherever you put the Omec teleport. It's a great pedal. This uses are endless with that thing. So
I'm willing to bet that you were the only person in your class that actually knew how to use a scientific calculator.
Yeah, it's taken me a few years to learn those things. I'm a professional nerd. That is true.
Hey, that's you can't have a guy on tour. Some guy goes, "Hey, can I have a rubbity blobbity blue?" And they're like, "Man, I don't know how to do that."
Yeah, but does it sparkle? That's all they want to know, right? No. Yeah, no. I mean, I work for some nerdy players too, but for the most part, that's half my job is to know most of the gear out there. But I'm lucky enough to work with companies who will send me stuff to try, and I tell them what I like and what I don't like about it. And if they send it to us out on tour, we get a beta test stuff. But I end up falling in love with the weirdest stuff, but it's very useful. And most people don't ever, they never even heard about it or won't ever come across it because they don't even know what it is. I mean, a pedal with no knobs, what can it do? I mean, it's literally can do anything.
That's mind blown. That's the first time that's been on this one, probably the last too. But it's who knows? Maybe people will go like, "Oh my gosh, I got to get my hands on this thing." And
the other cool thing about it is though, right? So if you take it and you send it to, you can turn your guitar into a MIDI guitar. You send it to a program that does MIDI. You can turn your guitar into a synth without having like the Roland synth hookups.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
You literally just send it to a program, turn the pedal on, and then it sends the synth back through your rig. So you can send it to dry straight to the board. So yeah, you can have your full rig as normal, send the one output through to the rest of your rig, and take the second output straight to a DI, and now you have an only wet through whatever software you're running and your full rig. So you can have a synth and a real guitar playing at the same time.
Oh.
And you can make your guitar a French horn, a keyboard, you know what I mean? Just it literally will turn it MIDI through USB.
The guys from Muse just sat up in their patent leather lazy boys. What?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they have them already.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool stuff.
Cool, man. Well, that was certainly a unique 4 on the floor.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't
I'm
think
sorry,
any
I went
of
too nerdy
the.
for you.
Well, maybe the Timmy was on before, but
No, I don't think we've had the Timmy. We had I believe we had the Tim, but not the.
Okay.
And we've had we've had hot cake on there. Tell you
Yeah,
what. Couldn't even say it.
Hot cake's cool.
All right, man. Well, that was fun. That was like a gear tasm thing there. That's outstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to give a big shout out to another chap real quick as we are motoring along during the show. I want to thank John Finnell for helping us out with providing us a roof, some shelter for our show. Even during the downtime, we still have some stuff over there, and he's been very kind. So he's a music producer and recording engineer. John is excellent at capturing guitar tone, the guitar tone that you want, not the guitar tone that he wants. If you have the opportunity and you're looking for somebody to actually do some recording, or he also travels to your favorite studio near your house. He does that kind of stuff too. Make sure you check him out at johnfintel.com. That's JONfintel.com. And his home recording, not his recording studio at home, but his home base. This is where we actually have the show, and where my band's recorded and many other bands at Relay Recording. So big thanks
I'm told
to John.
that he also does mastering too, doesn't he?
He does mixing, he does mastering. Yes, he does all that stuff.
Video stuff too, right?
That's correct. Well, he doesn't make the videos, but he does the video audio. He does the audio for the video.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
good.
Yeah, he's a good. And he was on our show. He had a great 101, so you're getting ready to go record. And as a
that
guitar
worked.
player, he was like, this is what you need to consider, everybody. And guess what I did when I went to record with him?
Did you listen to the
You didn't
episode?
follow the
I
instructions.
didn't. No, I did on some, but there was like,
You must be a guitar player.
yeah, there was like two things where I was like, oh man, you even called this out on the show and I didn't do it. I feel like a dum-dum. So anyhow, big thanks to John Finnell. We're going to get into the core, the big meat and potatoes of the show. We've got Drew Foppe of Foppstar Amps and his guitar teching job. I don't know what you call that. You don't have a brand name for that job, do you?
Well, I think the guitar teching is kind of my career, and the amps have spawned out the last couple of years, since 2012.
Yes. But we're going to talk about both tonight, so it's important that we get that information. Where can people see your work right now, Drew?
So the website for my amp company is just foppstar.com. It's FOPPSTAR.com. It kind of has some videos and pictures and some snippets of everything that I make or have made in the process of making. I try and update it as often as I can, but I am no webmaster. I'm usually building stuff instead. So, but that's where everything that I make is at.
Yeah, pedals and amps and probably some other whatnots, right?
Yep. Some weird merch and stuff like that. But yeah, I try and have something up there for everybody in all price ranges. Everything's handmade and hand wired, and I'm literally the only employee. So
Awesome.
It's easy to manage my time there.
Now, we mentioned your amps and your pedals and stuff, so please make sure you go check that out as you're listening along. But we got to know Drew through Jeff Schroeder, who's been on the show before, guitarist for Smashing Pumpkins, and we became fast friends with Drew. And Drew, can you just share? We're gonna dive into a couple different things here, but just the nickel version. Like, what are some bands that people might be familiar with that you have been teching for? By the way, he got Guitar Tech of the Year last year.
Oh yeah,
That's pretty awesome.
amazing. Yeah, I was totally
see that.
taken back by that. I still don't even know what to say about that one. I'm so grateful for that. It voted on by your peers, so that meant a lot to me.
Yeah, that's like the Screen Actors Guild of guitar teching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So drop some names on us so that we have an idea of like what you're doing and who you're doing it with.
Okay. Well, most recently, it's been Smashing Pumpkins, Sheryl Crow, Deftones. I did Fleetwood Mac for almost 10 years as Lindsey Buckingham's amp tech. I've worked for Evanescence, Shakira. Also out with Whitesnake recently. those guys are great. I love working for them as well. But yeah, I've been guitar tech for 18 years, so totally not a brag. And please don't take that the wrong way when I say it. It's literally,
That's your career.
I see thousands of guitars a year, and I can't remember everything. I did Slipknot for years, like I just remembered. You just forget sometimes.
Yeah.
So when you hear these names, and I'm talking to you listeners out there, you're thinking, wow, it's so awesome to know all these bands and stuff. But when we see Drew at the concert that that we sometimes get invited to, when we see him behind the scenes, he is busting his butt. He works really hard.
Yeah.
So he's, he doesn't just sit back there on a lazy boy looking from the side of the stage. I mean, he works really hard. It's a job.
Yeah.
I love my job. There's nothing else out there that I'd rather do. I have 2 college degrees in mathematics and psychology, and I'm doing this. I could be doing something totally different, but I'm here, and because I love it. And it's the only reason, because it is hard work. You're away from home a lot. I have a wife and 2 kids, and most years I'm gone 8 to 10 months out of the year. So it's be careful what you wish for, you might get it type job.
Yeah. So speaking about teching and stuff real quick, I just want to, we'll take this side of the fence for right now. I have a question.
No problem.
I don't know if you feel like naming this person or not, but who has the most guitars on tour that you have to work with?
That's a tough one, because it all depends on what leg of the tour it is and if they're headlining or a support band at the time. I mean, with Jeff out on Pumpkins, I had 22 to 24 guitars with dressing rooms and stuff like that.
Wow.
On Deftones, I have I do guitar and bass out there. I take care of Chino and Sergio. I used to work for Steph for like 6 years, but when I came back, I bounced between Fleetwood Mac and Deftones for almost a decade. And then 1 year I couldn't do Deftones stuff because I was doing Fleetwood. So Steph got a new tech. And then when Fleetwood ended, I was looking for a gig, and the band's like, well, why don't you go to the other side? I was like, totally fine with me. So that's when I went to the other side of the stage with Deftones. But out there I have 10 basses, and I'm working on getting Chino more guitars, but we have like 6 or 8 guitars. So, but yeah, I Sheryl Crow. We have, I take care of Josh, the slide player, and Peter Stroud, her musical director. And I have mandolins, guitars, acoustics, electrics, baritones. It just,
wow.
Shakira, I had tons of instruments. I had mandolins, band guitars, charangos. Yeah, you name it. I had something weird for everything. So there were violins, cellos, everything. So
wow,
yeah.
I used to have a big crush on Shakira a long time ago, and she still looks good to this day.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Super Bowl?
I did.
Yeah.
And, but I saw her videos and her dancing a long time ago, and just the way she dances, she's really talented, man. She really is. I personally like it.
Excellent. Well, thanks.
For obvious reasons, right?
Yeah, okay. Well, thanks, Jared.
You're probably going to take that out, aren't you, buddy?
I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
Leave it in.
I think that should be a highlight.
Oh, I got a couple other questions, but I wanted you to kind of give us I know that right now is a very difficult time for everybody who's in the professional music industry.
Totally.
Help us understand what that is like, because I think for some of us that might be a little bit hard to imagine. So
in October of last year, I was planning what 2020 was going to look like. So I'm booking tours because I work for myself. I don't work for a company. So I have to do all the legwork and get a tour. So I had most of this year lined up, starting in March through basically October, totally booked. And then in March, I was out with Deftones doing rehearsals. We did 2 weeks of rehearsals in Los Angeles. And then we went home for 4 days so the gear could get shipped to New Zealand, where our first show was. And then on the about 15 hours before our plane was leaving to New Zealand, we got an email from management saying, do not get on the plane. Tour is canceled due to the COVID-19. Everything's just, we're done. It's done. Tour's not happening. And I had literally just said goodbye to the kids, for the most part. All my bags are packed. That alone is tough, just to say goodbye to your family and then realize, oh, wait, you're not going anywhere. So it was just really weird. And that's when everything started for me. It got really weird. And then with what's going on right now with the virus going around, it's literally taken its toll. So everybody who had work, and it's not just musicians, but the music industry has been hit really hard because everybody who is involved in the music industry relies on people coming to shows, and people don't come to shows. Shows can't happen. People are out of work. So in March, I found out that I'm out of work till the unforeseeable future, as did thousands of other people who are core crews for bands. Like, just with Deftones, there's like 15 of us, 16 of us that are core crew. And that doesn't include like the labor that, the stage hands and stuff like that. Every city, you're talking about another 100 people a night. And then the vendors who are in the arenas selling beers and, food or whatever, a couple hundred of those a night. So literally hundreds of thousand people lost their jobs. And for me, my career basically overnight, and we're just trying to pick up the pieces and try and figure out what's going on. It's just a weird time, like I said, it's not just the music community. It's a lot of people out there. So you can't really complain too much, but you just kind of want to figure it out, and you just find a way to rediscover how to do things differently and what you're supposed to be doing now. So I've been building stuff, getting creative while I have all this time at home and spending time with my wife and kids, and just trying to do the best I can with circumstances I'm dealt with. But it hasn't been easy. It's not an easy transition. I'm used to being in a different city almost every night. So waking up every day and in the bed, it literally feels like Groundhog's Day. So I get a mulligan every day if something doesn't go right because I can't leave the house, and let's try that again today. So
I got you, babe, every morning, right?
Seriously. It's just on the comical side of it, you literally get a redo every day. But there are things that you don't get a redo on, like your bills and stuff like that. So you do have to figure it out. But a lot of people are coming to the aid of people in the music industry. There's a great organization called Music Cares, and they're giving out grants to people who have fallen on hard times due to the virus, for paying their rent and stuff like that. You go to their website, musiccares.com, and you can search for the application to fill it out. And I think it's up to $1,000 that they're giving people who need it to help them with the hard time. And then Live Nation is another company. Most of the tours that have been canceled are either Live Nation or AEG, two big promoters around the world. And they're starting a thing for all the crew basically who have been affected by a Live Nation tour being canceled. And they're putting a bunch of money together to try and basically build a stimulus package for people who are super in need. But there are people out there who are really struggling. Some people, they don't have anything anymore. So it's really tough.
It's really easy to just go like, name the big rock star or whatever. Like, I can't feel too bad for that person because they're super rich and super famous. That may or may not be the case, but I appreciate that you're talking so much about like everybody else that's associated with think about any show you've gone to, like in an arena. How many people it takes to put on that show in every city. Every one of those people is out of work, which is like bonkers to think about.
Yeah, I mean, for literally, let's say it's just a theater show or an arena show, you're looking at anywhere between 40 to a couple hundred people a night for one band, right? So let's say there's 200 bands out on tour at the same time, 200 shows a night times a couple hundred, so a couple thousand people a night out of work for months at a time. So
Yeah.
you're going to get to 500,000 people out of work within a couple months, and then to 1 million people out of work, a month later, because it just keeps growing and growing. So, and I'm just talking in the US. Now we do it global, bands playing everywhere. I mean, it's a huge deal. Like I think a lot of people take for granted the fact of that you come to a show but by no means is this a slam, but this is just, for me, an observation I've seen recently is people come to a show and they walk away, have a good time, but they don't ever think to realize what actually went into it. It takes months of rehearsals and countless hours to get the show ready. And then when you get to the show, all the trucks and the truck drivers and all the freight companies and all those people who get in the gear to city, I mean, they're out of work too. So it's taken its toll. And as of right now, I mean, we're in April, and the tours that I have booked, we're pretty much May's canceled, June's canceled, July is up in the air. So, it all depends on how the world progresses, because let's say the virus stops or whatever, and it's okay to go outside again and everybody, free to do whatever they want. But what if someone goes out there just a little bit too soon? I mean, how long do you wait after the okay is given to start up again? Because it only takes one person to start this over again. So it's going to, I think it's going to change literally the world on how the entertainment industry operates, and however that ends up being, I mean, it's remained to be seen, but it's weird.
Well, it's also
it's
something
already weird.
Yeah.
It's also something the other thing to keep in mind is, like, you're kind of going through the months, June, July, it's like, it takes a second to pull the plug out of this whole thing, but
Totally.
to get everything back in gear, it is going to be a massive undertaking. So it's not going to be like all of a sudden, like, oh, it's over. Cool. All the concerts are back on.
Yeah. I think the word on the street is, and it's no secret, so I'm not leaking anything that isn't known, but I think the word on the street is music is going to be following sports at the moment. Next sports being baseball. Mm-hmm. So I think music's going to follow baseball's role model on this. When baseball starts up, I think music will start back up, because I mean, with all the professional athletes and all the, for lack of a better word, famous people who are involved in all of this stuff to entertain people, no one wants any of them to get injured or hurt, because it hurts the whole business model for what they have, right? So if baseball is okay to send their multi-billion-dollar athletes out on the field in the arenas, I think the music industry will be okay to allow fans to come back, because literally with music, it's totally different. Like from athletes, athletes get paid to do, their thing on their own. They don't need people there, but musicians, they need people. Without people, there is nothing there's no one to perform for. But, athletes can go play a game and it can be televised without people in the crowd. Mm-hmm. Musicians can't, they can do, some people are doing live streaming, shows. I watched a couple of them, last week, but it's
not the same.
Their
thing.
livelihood is having the people there. Without the fans and without the people who love music, people who do what I do and the artists themselves, they really don't have much to go on without the health of the people who love the music.
Yeah.
So that's why the people are the most important thing, and that's why music won't start back up till people are healthy enough and it's safe to go out there, because it's just not worth it,
Yep.
in the long run.
So let's go on the sunny side of things right now.
Yeah.
You are a very resourceful person who,
I try to be.
I think it's funny because we'll see posts is like, hey, I'm off. The tour, the world tour has ended. I'm back for a week. Oh, here's 10 amps I just built. And it's like, what?
Right.
So talk to us, how you are coping with this and creating awesome things.
Absolutely. Yeah. So most tours, there's lots of downtime and days off and whatnot. So I design stuff in my hotel rooms on days off to keep busy. It's just something I've always done. So yeah, on tour, I'll bring a Pelican case full of parts and I'll just start building boards for my amps, or, building relays for channel switching stuff, or coming up with new designs in just literally at the hotel desk. And since I'm not on tour, I'm just doing that at home. And I've been coming up with new designs for stuff. And I came up with a couple new pedals. The most recent thing I had before that was my Los Dos amp, which was a 2-watt amp, channel switching amp. And I sold out of those amps in 4 months, and it was incredible.
I have one, and
you got one.
I love it. I love it. I talk about it all the time on the show.
I ran into Jared at NAMM, and he's like, "Did you sell out of them?" I was like, "Yeah, I have one left." He's like, "I want it." I was like, "Oh, okay, it was the one for me, but I'll send it to you."
So I have Drew's. I have Drew's amp. It's awesome.
Yeah. You pretty much got the last one. So
I'm very thankful for it. By the way, I play it a lot. So
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it was a, I was really happy with that amp, and everything I make is limited edition. So I'm the only employee, so I don't mass produce anything. And like if it's a pedal or amp or whatever, I drill every hole by hand. I don't have a CNC machine.
You do it in a driveway.
Yeah, I do it in my driveway or my backyard. My neighbors are probably mad at me for always having a drill press out there, but so I pretty much build all the amps and pedals wherever I can in my house or in my hotel rooms, wherever I can bring a soldering iron. I try and get the job done just to kill time. I like to not waste a second of the day, and that's helped me a lot in life and in my career, but mostly just to keep my brain going and having fun. I love building stuff. So
I can imagine that would be a really easy pit to fall in, especially. So like, I remember you were posting, I think you were in Brazil, maybe Sao Paulo. I could be right or wrong, but it was definitely Brazil. It was raining, and you had like 4 or 5 pedals that you were building like in your hotel room. And I was like, man, this guy never stops. But if you think about it, to a certain degree, we are all experiencing this right now, where we are stuck in our home. So being stuck in a hotel room, or just at least forced to live within hotel boundaries every day for months, even if it's a different hotel, that could probably send you into a crazy space.
Well, yeah, I mean, like it's a different form of Groundhog's Day, I guess. But you wake up some days. Most days you don't know what day it is, and some days you honestly have to ask someone where you're at. I don't ever look at the. You get a tour book with the schedule or whatever, or there's an online thing, iCal, or a thing called Master Tour, but it tells you where you're at and what the day is supposed to be. But I don't really look at it because I just like to go to work or not go to work. And when I'm not at work, I'm still working. So it makes no difference to me. But yeah, it gets hotel rooms get monotonous and it's boring. I don't party or anything like that. So, nothing wrong if you do. I'm trying to work for the better cause and save some money and build some stuff. But it's a safe way to stay out of trouble. That's for sure.
Drew, this brings us to one of the things that you're currently working on right now. You released just recently, and I just posted something on Instagram, and I got this beautiful orange and black pedal in the mail, and it's the Gentleman Deluxe. Can you tell us about this pedal that we're going to give away to a patron on Patreon, people? Hey. So this is another, we keep saying we're giving away stuff. We're doing it. I got some more stuff we're going to be giving away here real soon too. Tell us about this amazing pedal you built.
Totally. It's called the Gentleman Deluxe. and the current version is version 2.0. I made the first version a couple years ago. It's been my number one selling product that I've made for years now. But what it is it's an input attenuator for all intents and purposes. It basically allows you to change your gain structure of your instrument or guitar without changing your tone. So for a guitar player who has a single channel amp and they like to crank it for the overdrive, but they use their volume knob to clean up their tone. Even if you do the treble bleed mod or some other mods on your guitar, when you roll your guitar volume down, it still changes your tone a little bit, and it's almost impossible to get your volume knob to the same exact setting every single time. And every guitar has its own sweet spot of where that actually is. It could be in between numbers or whatever. So what I've done is I've made a pedal that has different attenuation levels, and it basically will let you attenuate your guitar volume from 10 all the way down to about 2 or 3, depending on the pickups and the pots in your guitar. And it gives you a precise position at any given moment with a foot switch. And the cool thing about it is when you hit the pedal on, it doesn't change your tone. It literally keeps your impedance the same. The only thing it's doing is taking the gain structure and dropping it. So you can take a dirty amp and clean it up, or you can use it in reverse and boost an acoustic guitar. So you have the pedal on for your rhythm tone, and then you turn it off so it has no attenuation for a lead tone for solos. Same thing can work for a clean amp. But it really does, it's for people who play with inflection and need to have different levels on their guitar without having to always trying to, spin the knob right in that sweet spot. You just have to hit a button every single time. And the cool thing about the version 2.0 is I've added a true bypass effects loop into the pedal in series to the gentleman side. So it goes, there's one in and one out, and one send and one return. So the pedals are wired. There's 2 pedals in one pedal. They're wired in series. So it hits the attenuator first and then the bypass looper second. So you can string up a bunch of effects. Or if you have a noisy effect, vintage pedal that you don't want to keep hitting the switch on and off, throw it in the loop of the gentleman pedal, and you can turn it on and off with that foot switch. True bypass. So whatever you have in the loop is unaffected by your tone when it's out, and then when you turn it on, the effect's already on. So it's going to sound like the effect's there.
So let me just intervene really quickly. So think about if you're playing a little live show, right? And you got a part where you've got full gain and you've got really cool delay and reverb and everything. You want to drop the volume, or at least manage the volume during the verse, but you still need to keep your delay and reverb going at the same level. You could do that with this.
That's right, because the output of the effect isn't changed. It's only the input to the effect. So your delays don't change, and the repeats don't change. It's literally just the gain structure into it. So, yeah. But you can also use it in a way where you have a lower volume with delay or a modulation effect, and then you need to drive a chorus with a louder dry signal. The switches are spaced perfectly I'm a size 10.5 shoe, and I can hit both pedals with ease, or both buttons with ease on the foot switch. So you can turn them both on and off, no problem. And super simple to use.
Yeah.
The pedal's passive, doesn't require power to work. The version 1 had no LED. The Gentleman Deluxe version 1.0 was a single, just the Gentleman pedal with the ring LED, and the Deluxe version 2.0 is the ring, Gentleman and the looper. So
it's sweet. This thing's really sweet. And
I have one.
You do have one. Yeah.
Yep. I love it. I love Drew Foppe's stuff, by the way. If anybody hasn't noticed, I've got the Royal.
Yeah, the Royale preamp.
I have your 2 amp.
The Los Dos.
Why am I blanking right now?
I love it so much. Tell me what I have.
I forgot what this stuff's called.
It's my
And
favorite stuff.
Gentleman Deluxe.
I can remember it.
That pedal is amazing. I mean,
Thank you.
I don't really play out much, but I don't know. I just gravitate towards the stuff that's really well built.
Let's say you have like a Vox amp or something like that is like on the just set to the verge of crunch, but then you need a super clean tone as well. You can have both with the pedal without changing anything on your amp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
it's really cool.
I've got about 4 or 5 amps that I can't do that with, but now I can with the Gentleman pedal. It's made my playing with these amps a lot more enjoyable instead of having to go turn down the gain and all that kind of thing. Now that pedal's made my experience a lot fun.
Thanks, man.
Easier. Yeah.
Let's say you have a Marshall cranked to high gain, but you say you have an 800 or something like that, or just any plexi, but you have no clean tone. You can use this pedal to tame the cranked Marshall, and you don't lose any tone at all from the amp. It literally gives you 2 channels off a single channel amp. And you can also use it with an effects pedal. So if you have an overdrive pedal, you can attenuate the gain of the overdrive pedal. So it's like having 2 stages of gain on an overdrive pedal, and then you can turn the overdrive pedal off, and now you have a 3-channel amp out of a single channel amp.
Yeah, that's a lot of math.
You can do crazy stuff with it. It's super simple, but it's all passive. It has a 9-volt DC negative center jack on there, which just powers the LEDs. That's all it does. So no voltage hits the circuit. I don't know. Everybody who has one has literally loved it, and it changed the way that they actually approach guitar, because it gives them an option that they never actually. Some people have never touched their guitar volume ever in their life. They just roll at max, but sometimes guitar and amp combinations sound best with the guitar rolled back to around 8 or 7, but you don't know that till you try it. But then when you roll your guitar knob down, it muddies your tone a little bit, or but you don't have to worry about that now. You just hit the pedal and it's always the same.
It's like a wet pair of undies on your amp.
Totally less smelly.
Okay, so that is a great explanation of the Gentleman pedal, the Gentleman Deluxe. Now, we have this one. It's got an awesome guitar knobs screen print on the back. It's orange, it's black, and this is going to go to one of our supporters. And so we're really grateful to Drew for building this. Thank you so much for allowing us to give this to one of our listeners.
Okay, so what I've been doing since this whole lockdown for everybody around the world is I made a custom version of this pedal. Before it was only available in black and white, or black or white. I've made a custom blue one that's available on the website for $120 with free shipping. But
that's nice.
What I'm going to do to help people out even more is I'm going to make a custom guitar knobs version of the pedal. And right now, the one that's available for $120, it's called Sky Blue. Just trying to bring some of the outside inside for everybody. It has a black logo, but I'm going to do a special custom one for the guitar knobs community and do one with a white logo. So it's like blue with a white cloud logo on there. I'm going to also offer that one for $120 with free shipping. And then if you message me before you place an order, I'll give any color, the black, the white, the blue one that I have now with a black logo, or a blue one with a white logo. Any of the pedals I'll sell for $120 shipping included, to help anybody out right now who may not have the funds to get a full price pedal.
Outstanding.
But they're all made one at a time. I drill every bit of it, wire them all by hand. $120 shipped to you. Any color, just message me before you buy it, and I can send you a link to purchase it that is not on the website, or feel free to buy it on the website at full price, whatever you want. But I would love to help you guys out by helping me out in the process. Everybody, just trying to help everybody out at the same time.
Awesome.
But yeah, these pedals, a black one, a white one, or any version of the blue one, just let me know if you guys want any of them. Message me, and it's 120 shipped.
How many of the Guitar Knob special ones are you making?
I'm probably going to make 20 of those. So there'll be 20 available with a blue and a white logo, and I'm not going to advertise those ones on my website. So those are only going to be available to listeners. I will try and put up a special link on my website soon that will say Guitar Knobs. And when you click that, it'll take you to a page with a password, hopefully, and that will have the pictures of it. Or I can just send Todd some pictures that he can post on his page, and anybody who follows you on Instagram or anything like that, they can see the pedal. And but it's only available to people who listen to the podcast and follow the Guitar Knobs, because I just want to do something special for all your listeners, and something special where no one else can have the opportunity to get it. But yeah, 120 shipped.
That's awesome.
That sounds like a great deal.
Awesome. Okay, well, we can't wait to post that out. Drew, that is super generous. Thank you for helping the guitar community out. And boy, we hope that you and every other one of your professional music industry friends, we hope we just wish everybody well, regardless of what you're doing. But, I know you guys are getting hit hard right now. So thank you so much for spending as much time as you did. Now we're going to turn the show over to our buddy Jared.
Ladies and gentlemen, now is a really fun part of the show called Would You Rather? A nice extra long Would You Rather.
Oh, yeah.
This episode for no reason at all. Doug Vanillas from Instagram sent us our Would You Rather this week, and I am going to read it right now. It's not one of those real long, juicy ones, but it's very simple.
Make
so
something
please
up.
pay attention. You got it. So you're walking down the street. No, I'm just kidding. Would you rather play a Tele body guitar, Jazzmaster hardware? So imagine a Tele shaped body and neck, but you've got the Jazzmaster hardware on there, like the Jazzmaster trim and the weird bridge and the, that kind of stuff.
All the bits.
All the bits of the Jazzmaster with the extra neck jazzy tone control segments, which I don't know where you're going to fit that at on a Tele. Or would you rather have a Jazzmaster body with Tele hardware? I know somebody who has one of those.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's a good one. It's a really good one, because the reason I think that's good is because one of them is maybe a little bit more obvious, or we've seen that, but I don't know that we've seen the other one. Tony Baloney.
Wow. So, I mean, I am a fan of the offset body, Jazzmaster Jaguar, that sort of thing. And the only problem that I run into from time to time is because of the size of the body, they tend to be a little bit heavier. But I've built a couple, and I know a couple of other guys here have built a couple too of whether we're calling them Telemasters or Jazzcasters or whatever. And it's actually a really good platform for that Tele pickup and control layout. Wow, I have to really think about that, because I'm trying to imagine what it would be like on the Tele. I mean, I've seen some Tele bodies that have Jazzmaster pickups in them. They look a little bit strange, but added to that with the the Jazzmaster trim and bridge.
Mm-hmm. It's not a lot of real estate.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be right on top of it. So I think from a practical standpoint, I'm going to go with something that I know, and that's the Jazzmaster body with Tele appointments. Simple.
Okay. Jared?
I know what it's like to have the second choice. So, yeah, I'm going to want to see somebody fit all that jazz on that telly body, and they have to fit everything on the telly body. So, including the extra neck tone and volume control thingy McDougal's, like on the original.
The rhythm circuit, as we
the
would
rhythm
call it.
circuit. Yeah, thank you, Tony Baloney. That's I got to see somebody do it, and I mean, telly bodies feel good. I mean, just the telly in general it's just a great guitar, and so is the jazz. I mean, they're both great guitars. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Nice.
I got to see somebody do the thing though. I want to see him put the Jazzmaster stuff on the telly.
I think you'd have to make an oversized telly body, like one of those old Bigsby bodies.
Nope, jam it all in there. You can do it.
Gotta do it.
Yeah. Drew.
Well, hearing you guys talk about it, I haven't changed my mind. I'm probably one of the rare people out there who isn't the biggest Offset fan. I love the telly body. I love solid body guitars. I think I would definitely go with the telly with the Jazzmaster bridge and all the appointments. If you could fit it on the body. I mean, it almost sounds like a challenge that I should try and do this right now because I'm home. But yeah, I mean, yeah, any chance I have a Les Paul special or a telly, I choose those two, regardless of how silly they may look with whatever mods you do. But yeah, I'm definitely going with the telly with Jazzmaster parts.
Well, I'm looking at mine right now. So I love this guitar. This is the Jazzcaster, whatever you want to call it. And I've done just about every kind of modification I can think of to this, much to probably many people's dismay. But I think I want to see this Telecaster because I like playing Telecaster. And for whatever reason, I don't want to have anything to do with playing a Jazzmaster or a Jaguar. It's not that I don't hate. It's not like a Stratocaster to me. You know, it's not like kryptonite. But I just it's just not my gem for whatever reason. I like them. I think they're cool. I like the way they sound. But I would like to see this weirdness. I'm not gonna lie. Somebody's got to make this.
Yeah, I got to see it.
Did Fender not come out with something similar to this at NAMM? I can't remember. They did their new Parallel Universe series, right? So I can't remember what they released, but they released some pretty cool looking guitars that I want to say was something similar to that.
They did the Telecaster body on the offset or the Telecaster offset.
Right. But they also did. I think the one you might be thinking of, Drew, is the Strat appointments on a telly body.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Ugh.
Yeah, one of them looked pretty funky. I mean, I like their Parallel Universe series, but definitely a telly with Jazzmaster parts. I'm intrigued. I'm gonna draw this thing up tonight.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, share that with us because I'd kind of like to get a.
I'll post it. I'll post it for sure if you send that. That'd be awesome.
I'll try and work on something, but it's gonna be funky.
Awesome. All right, we've got a few people to thank. Tony.
Yes, we do. Fact,
it's a special night.
It's a very special night. This was like the best news I heard all day. Is that we have 3 new executive producers?
That is correct.
3.
Nice.
Not 2, not 1, but 3.
The trifecta.
Indeed. And someone out there, I'm sure, is thinking, well, what is this executive producer thing? And well, it sounds like something I want to be part of. Well, here's what you do. Go over to patreon.com/the guitar knobs. And you will find a couple of different levels in which you can participate, becoming a patron of this very podcast. And each level comes with its own bevy of fun things like T-shirts and barefoot buttons and stickers and picks and all kinds of things. And what about giveaways? Oh, yes, you will qualify for giveaways. But the very top of the heap is the executive producer level.
Mm-hmm.
And this growing list, I mean, I'm just so happy about it and very impressed at the same time.
I'm humbled by it, doggone it.
Yeah, really. But actually, there is even a slightly higher level in the executive producer level, the Grand Poobah level. And those are our fez-wearing brethren. And I'm going to start with our Grand Poobahs today.
Lovely.
So we'd like to thank Jonathan Jerusik, Corey Nigro, David Kaminga, Cody Lane, Cody Foster, Sean, and Tommy Manasco.
That's right.
And I want to welcome
you guys.
Thank you. Yes. And I want to welcome and thank our 3 newest executive producers. That would be Adam Johnson, Mark Garton? Yeah, Mark Garton. And Steve Keys, who we heard from earlier today.
Yeah. And Adam was an edit. So he's been he's been at our $5 level for a long time and jumped up to the executive level.
That's great.
They get to have their name
blows
written
me
on
away.
the thing.
I'm so grateful for this.
They get
Right.
to have their name written.
Oh, wait,
on
I'm
the
not
thing.
We're gonna get there, Jared. Oh my gosh.
You always have me say it before you read the names off.
Well,
You screwed up everything. Start over from the top.
We're not going to start over.
Okay.
So, in addition to our 3 new executive producers, let's go back to the beginning. Mr. Tom Barazin, Martin Cliff, John Daly, Chris Carney, Darren Gregory, Doug Christ, Michael Van Zant, Ken Sayers, Brian Robison, Michael Senchuk, Stefan Lamb, Johnny Knowles, Anthony Lathrop, John Anglin, Tyler Bray, Brad Partridge, Chris Heidel, John Esterly, Tim Nowak, Doug Gann, Justin Jones, Brett Alexander, James White, Matt Hart, and James Pennington.
oh man.
That's a lot of names.
That's a lot of names, and man, I am so grateful for that. Thank you all, thank you all, thank you all. And you too can what, Jared?
Well, you can have your name written on the thing.
Nope.
Written on the thing.
So you're one, you had
God damn
one
it,
job.
You screwed me up. 'Cause you didn't do it in the right thing. I'm sorry. Cue me again.
No, I'm keeping that. Are you kidding me? All right, everybody. Drew, where can people find you?
You can find my website at foppstar.com, foppstar.com, and same thing on Instagram. It's just Foppstar.
Awesome. And make sure you go and get that pedal that he has made for our listeners specifically, and maybe just one for your friends, since they're at such a killer price, and you get whatever you want. Talk to him. He'll make it. Tony.
Let's just say you are wondering what you're going to do with all your spare time now, and you got a few bucks burning a hole in your pocket. Go over to pickguardian.com and let's come up with something special together. Shoot me an email. Let me know what you need. Take a look at what things that I do. And if you want to see some of the projects we've talked about, go over to our good friends at Instagram and Pick Guardian and the number 1.
Awesome. Jared?
All right. If you guys are looking for pickups, hit me up. If you need something repaired, I do rewinds, and I do my very best to make them stock or however you think they'll sound better. I've got some really cool products going on right now. I've got a noiseless Jazz Master pickup
They're
going
very
on.
nice, by the way.
Yeah, they're not a humbucker you get sound. They're still single coilish without all the hum. And
You might want to put those in one of your Telecaster bodied Jazzmaster.
That's
you
ones.
can
right.
do that. You can do that. And I've got a sale going on, 15% off if you use the code word home.
Nice.
So take
Awesome.
advantage of that. And if there's something on there you don't see, give me an email or a telephone ring, and all that information is on the website.
Yes. Jared
about
makes
you,
some mighty fine sounding pickups, everybody.
hear it.
No lie. We're grateful. We are thankful for our health and our happiness and all of yours out there as well. And for Drew Foppe for joining our show tonight. We've been wanting to have him on for quite a long time, and we're thankful for the time that he shared with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure talking with you.
Woo-hoo. Everybody, have a great guitar week and subscribe.
Yeah.
I've got a pork roast and a thing of barbecued chicken in the oven.
Ernie balls have a thicker core, so
Nice.
they work much better.
Like Tony.
Yes.
Savage. I just see it peeking every once in a while, but can't really help it.
Just like Tony.
Tony sending pictures of his pork.
Tony?
Yes.
Are you just sitting there eating pork and chicken? Or what?
Not yet.
What
I'm not yet.
Is it still
if
in the
you
oven?
shut up, I can go do it. Tony, you want to say something?
I'm still here.
Let us know.
I may have to take the pork and chicken out of the oven at some point.
Okay.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.